Welcome to No Substitutes, the show where I have on some of my favorite people and we talk about what ingredients make them who they are. And today I have a very special guest. She's one of my best friends. She's got the biggest heart and she's also has the most insane work ethic of anyone I've ever met. Please welcome Miss Vanna Bardot.
Thank you. What an introduction, Lumi.
How was the drive over?
A little traffic, but it's Friday.
I know. I forgot. Well, I've been here all day, but yeah.
Yeah. Also, Uber is just like a shit show right now.
Yeah. No, for sure. Oh, well, how was your day?
It's going good. Yeah. Just getting things done. And it's the first time I'm leaving the house today. So
nice. There you go. Glad you made it out here. Well, let's get into it. What are 3 ingredients you would say to be successful at your profession? Because honestly, you're probably one of the most successful.
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I feel like there's so many really important things that go into being like successful in the adult industry. But I mean, the first one is, which seems like obvious, but you'd be surprised by like how many people, especially young girls, like don't fully think about this, is like having an actually like strong sexuality and strong sex drive and just like interest in sex in general.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like so many, specifically like especially young girls, get into the industry and they're just like, oh, I'm just gonna do this because it's easy, or there's this or that. And they're like not actually like sexual people. Which, if you're coming into porn because you want to explore that more and broaden it, it's one thing. But yeah, so many other people, they get in and they're like, I'm like, why are you doing this? So I feel like that's one big thing. You need to be a sexual person. And then professionalism, which also seems like an obvious thing, but there's so many, especially again, like young people who get into the industry and like they go straight from high school to porn because, you just have to be 18. So a lot of people never work a real job and don't understand what it means to show up on time and do all the things that you need to and not canceling. So,
Gotta treat it like a job.
Yeah, it's a big one.
I'm like, it's still a fun job, but you still, think of it as, that's why I'm like, you're a very good influence, I feel like, towards women. And any woman that's now going to come after you, I think, has so much to learn from. And you're a great beacon for that. So
Thank
it's,
you.
That's
Thank
awesome.
You. But yeah, I think the last thing is also, I don't know what's like the correct word for this, but I guess like being realistic.
Right.
Because, some people get into the industry and have like ideas of, they're like, oh, I want to do this and that. And there definitely are certain things that can hold them back, whether it's their look or their management or so many different factors. And, I don't think I would be anywhere where I am today if I wasn't realistic with myself and, made the changes that I thought were appropriate to get me to where I wanted to go.
Of
so,
course.
Yeah.
Nice. I like that last one. What's some advice you would give what advice would you give to a performer who's going for Best Actress?
For Best Actress, you know what? That's like something I'm aiming for.
Oh, okay.
I think if you're really serious about trying to get Best Actress, definitely like you got to take acting classes or have like an actual interest in acting. It's something I want to get more into. But yeah, Best Actress is something that I'm really gunning for. I've gotten Performer of the Year, but I feel like Best Actress is such an amazing award to win.
It's more for the arts of it.
Yeah, it's so much more evolved, but beyond just the sex.
Yeah. I wonder if taking improv would help at all.
Yeah, that's one thing. Getting into porn, because I used to go to performing arts middle school and high school.
Oh, wow.
And when I first went, my art was theater, and then I eventually transferred to dance. And I loved doing like theater when I was younger, and we did a lot of improv, which was like one of my favorite things in theater and dance. But I feel like with porn, it became such a useful tool because so much of it is just improving. They're like
ad-libbing and
they're like, okay, you two are, this is how you know each other. This is how you're going to end up fucking. Figure out a conversation that leads to that.
Yeah.
Action.
So
I think it paid off for sure.
For sure. No. Yeah. Because I didn't have that experience until porn. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's another thing people don't realize. They're like, oh, fuck, I actually have to like memorize lines.
Yeah. Sometimes it's actually, I feel like memorizing lines are the easy days. Yeah. But if you are not good at improvising, do not join the industry.
Yeah.
Because you guys have no idea how much it is of that. Not even just for lines, but also something slips, something.
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta figure out a different move. You're like, oh, cramp. Okay. How has the industry changed since you first started?
Wow, it's evolved so much.
Yeah.
I think it's been, last month it was officially 6 years that I've been in the industry, which is so crazy. It doesn't feel like 6 years, but when I also like think back to when I just started, it does feel like forever ago. Yeah, I mean, I got in before COVID happened, which I think was a real like turning point for this change in the industry, because like once the industry shut down because of COVID and there was like no shooting or anything, OnlyFans was already around, but some people were taking it really seriously. Some people weren't. Everybody was still mostly relying on doing mainstream porn in studios. When everything shut down, everybody was like, okay, fuck, like, what are we going to do? And that's when so many people were like, okay, like, we have nothing, there's nothing we can do besides OnlyFans or other content sites. And that's when it really blew up. And once, even after things got back to normal and like sets were open for shooting again, it completely changed. And I think every single person felt that, because once performers realized how much money there is to be made and how successful you can be on your own terms independently, then it changed a lot. I love to see people are able to have more boundaries and make more money, but it is sad to see the industry sometimes. It's at least like usually you can always see like the new crop of performers who come in. Now I feel like so many people are just getting started with OnlyFans that they kind of bypass that. So I feel like the industry is kind of shrinking now. Not entirely. I don't think it's ever going to go away completely, but
because they also, I think some of the OnlyFans people will join and then figure out, oh, okay, I'm not capable of like doing the set days. But some people love it, you know? I think like you love being on set, I think. And you love the acting aspect of it.
I like the theater aspect of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like to make something. That's why I'm like, people are like, well, I can make the same amount of money in an hour at home.
And I'm like, you're like, I'm not here for that.
Too, but I love to be on a set with a crew and we're producing something that is so cool.
It's a craft.
Yeah.
No, for sure. I feel like, as long as there are people like that, it'll always still have some life to it.
There are sets too where I'm like, fuck this shit, fuck you, fuck that person. No.
Fair. Do you miss anything about your dancing days?
I do, yeah. I was just thinking about that. I was watching something on Netflix kind of about dance, and they were following one girl who was like on her last year of dancing. And it definitely reminded me of when I finished high school. I left after my sophomore year. But I remember like being in one of my last dance classes, and I knew that once I left school that I probably wasn't going to continue dancing, even like at a, studio outside of school, just because I was already working and it just wasn't realistic. I also myself was realistic that I was like, this isn't going to lead to anything career-wise, which I was okay with, but it definitely was very like bittersweet. I was excited to move on to new things, but I was sad that I knew I was probably going to be letting this go. I've tried getting back into dance classes as an adult now, but it just doesn't like hit the same for me anymore. If there's no like competition or a show to be preparing for, it just doesn't work for me. I have to have something to be like striving towards.
Have you done anything like that themed yet? Shot something? Like, have you ever gone to mix both passions yet?
Yeah. A while ago, actually, the first award that I ever won was actually for a scene that I did for Deeper. And Kaden Cross, director, asked me to, because she was looking for people who could dance on point. And I responded to her on Twitter. And yeah, she booked me for it. And the whole beginning of the scene, like before the sex starts, I'm dancing. And then I have, I think the guy was either playing my partner, a teacher, or something like that. And yeah, it was pretty intense, especially like now I would, if somebody asked me to do dancing, I'm like, fuck no. But back then it was only still like a few years since I stopped. So I was like, still kind of flexible. I still got it. Now I'm like, absolutely not. I do not have it anymore. But yeah, that was a really cool experience. And it was so beautiful. And I just thought it was really funny because I ended up winning Best Solo for that scene. And when I used to dance in high school, I never like got a chance to do any solos, and my parents couldn't, even in like the studio I went to outside of school, like my parents couldn't afford to get me for any solo classes. So I'm like, this is really funny and ironic that the first award I won in porn is for dancing.
Yeah.
So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. It's kind of serendipitous.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah, definitely.
Aw. What's the best meal Cody's ever cooked for you?
Oh, that's a great question. You know, I think it's gotta be, he did a really great like rack of lamb ones. Ooh. But I think my favorite thing is for Christmas now, is a tradition of ours to do a prime rib roast in our Traeger smoker. And yeah, I think that's still my favorite thing. It's so good.
Now I need to. My producer was asking me if I've ever cooked for you, and I was like, I actually think she's the only friend who's cooked for me.
That's true. I don't know if I've eaten your food before.
You've cooked for me twice now, but now I'm gonna have to come over for Christmas.
Oh yeah, you gotta come over.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, that sounds so good. I kind of know the answer to this one, but I'll let you answer anyways. What's your favorite restaurant?
Favorite restaurants?
Actually, maybe I don't.
That's a hard one. I feel like I actually don't go out enough in LA to restaurants.
Right.
But I do have some that I really love. I love Abra. It's just great. Like it's great food, it's upscale, but it's not like super fussy. No. And the food is like, I don't know, everything there is just so, is great. Yeah, good service. Trying to think of what else. There's a great place. It's not Momofuku. Oh, Major Domo. Here in LA. It's so good.
Okay. I don't think I've been there.
Yeah. Oh, we gotta go.
Yeah.
We gotta go. Yeah, they do this amazing, it's like kind of, I guess, Asian fusion.
Yeah.
But they do this great, it's not like a brisket. They have this like piece of meat that they like completely like smoke it and cook it, and they like slice it up for you and like serve it for you with like all like the little like, you know, fixings like like lettuce and kimchi and like all this other stuff. And then they take the rest of the bones and the fat and they render off all the fat and they make a fried rice with it. It's incredible. Okay. It's so much food, but it's incredible.
That sounds really good though. Oh my God. Okay. Trying to think if there's like one more restaurant, but I'm getting too hungry. Who did the cooking in your family growing up?
Both my parents, honestly. I mean, my mom was a private chef, and then my dad owned restaurants. So it was definitely, I guess, I don't know if it's completely 50-50, but yeah, they were both amazing cooks. My mom could cook like everything. I mean, she obviously specialized more in like French dishes because she's French. And then my dad is excellent with pasta. Nice. He can pull, it's incredible. Like he can I don't know, he would just go in the fridge and just find whatever was in there. It could be like, you'd be like, there's absolutely nothing in here. And he managed to whip up like the best pasta have you ever eaten. I think that's why I'm like really not opposed, but I don't typically order pasta when I go out just because I feel like I'm usually disappointed by it.
Right.
And yeah, and maybe that's why.
Yeah, when there's certain like homemade dishes that you've had, there's nothing like it. There's nothing I can compare. Even if I'm sure you would probably have some amazing food in Italy, but I mean, that's the thing about food. You can have an emotional attachment to certain dishes, and it can bring you back to that feeling or that memory. Yeah. But that's also what's so great when you experience a new dish. Yeah. So, but that's good to know. Now I have to try your dad's cooking. So I've had your grandma's cooking. Very,
Oh, she's coming to town next month for 2 weeks.
Oh, yes.
So you'll definitely have to join in on the cooking lessons.
Yes. One of the best food experiences I've had, which is a question I usually ask guests, but because somebody asked me recently, and I was like, oh, when my friend's grandmother cooked for me in Paris, it was also like the first time I ever had a home cooked meal in like a different country. Yeah. So I was like that. I don't know. There was like a certain like new feeling, but also very, I don't know.
No, that was so special. I'm really glad you were able to come over and
me too,
and meet her and have her food. Because I definitely feel like food has. I have a lot of foodies in my family for sure, like from my mom's side and my dad's side, which I'm really grateful for. Right. And that's something now as an adult, like I'm really trying to learn more of those recipes and, keep those dishes alive in a way. Because I try recreating some things, but then there's nothing like learning it from that person. Yeah. So.
No, a lot of cultures too around the world. I've like seen on cooking shows and stuff when they're interviewing people in like villages, and they're like, "Oh, like I teach my kids to cook just from the smell and like feeling of things." I'm like, I don't think there's anytime I cook a recipe at home or try to teach myself one, it's literally just I'm eyeing everything.
That's something I struggle with, and like Cody will make fun of me because I'm like, no, I have to do everything exactly to be the perfect proportion. Because at least if I find something on the internet, I want to do it like exactly how they say it. Because I want to like
you want it to look I want
to taste it how that person made it, and then I'll kind of like try to do a variety from there. And
I get that. Actually, I don't get that, but I get why you would want that. But
it is hard though, because I realize even if you do follow the exact, measurements of everything, sometimes it still doesn't come out how that person made it.
Well, they probably Photoshop the shit out of it. Also,
but like my grandma, for example, she has this like super famous salad dressing. I don't know if you remember it.
Yeah.
And she gave me the recipe for it, and I've tried and making it, and I cannot get it exactly how she made it. And I'm like, I need to see her making it, because
there we go.
Yeah.
We'll just have a cooking lesson.
Yeah.
Because that her food was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I remember even being like, I don't know what I'm eating, but I know it's one of the best meals I've had.
There's definitely something different too to like a grandma making food.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
Like nowadays, I mean, people are always going to love food, but I feel like there is less and less of a cooking culture in like young people, because we have so much access to not just restaurants, but being able to just order food to home. And there's a lot of people who, just don't learn how to cook at all. And learning how to cook or eating food from somebody who's so much older, who first of all has had so much more time to learn how to do things and learn from other people, I think that's really, really special and fantastic.
No, it's the best teacher in my opinion. Cooking. Yeah, I don't think I've cooked for you, so I can't ask you that question.
Yeah, I never realized that.
I know. I was like, oh, shit.
Well, you're going to host a dinner soon, Lumi.
I know. What is one of your earliest childhood memories?
Ooh. I'm trying to think about that.
Ooh, Actually, I'm going to change that. What's one of your earliest memories with your mom? Because I asked Holly that earlier, and I was like, it's mama time.
Yeah.
Try about moms today.
Yeah, with my mom, I don't know, probably going to the beach. I mean, that was like a big activity. Like when I was born in Miami, but then maybe a couple months after I was born, my family moved me and my brother to Brazil, and we lived there for a year. So I learned how to like walk on the beach and everything. And obviously I don't remember like my first steps or anything, but I would definitely say like those are like my biggest memories as a child, is like being at the beach, being at the pool.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big water baby.
Big water baby. Oh, that's awesome. Do you have a favorite snack or treat from your childhood?
Snack or treats?
Or maybe dish.
I mean, I was a huge Nutella girl. It's incredible reflecting on that now, actually. I used to eat like the whole jar of Nutella in like one go. It's amazing.
How are you not huge?
No, I was so skinny when I was little. I was so like, now I'm like more normal, but back then I was so skinny, and I would eat, and now I can't even think about, like, it hurts my teeth to think about eating that much. Like, something like, maybe if I'm out, like, maybe I'll have something that has Nutella in it, but it's pretty rare.
Right.
I can't even remember the last time I had Nutella, actually. But I used to go through so many jars, and then I would hide the jars underneath my bed. And I remember one day when we were moving, my mom found all the jars of Nutella underneath the bed.
She's like, oh, God. Oh, no. Oh, no. That's a lot of Nutella.
Yeah.
What's an unpopular food opinion you have?
Ooh. Personally, I hate fruit with chocolate. I don't like the textures of it together.
I can understand that. I feel like chocolate's too melty.
Yeah, or oh my God, cream cheese and sushi. Disgusting. Terrible.
Yeah.
What else?
I don't understand that one.
Meat cooked, anything beyond
medium rare.
Medium rare, honestly. Like, some people are still like, oh, medium. I'm like, honestly, no. Like, I think medium rare is, maybe it depends on like,
it's dog food at that point.
Yeah.
The only thing I found out recently, if it's ground beef, it does have to be cooked medium.
Yeah.
But I was like, I even tried to cook it one time, and my friend was like, I'm gonna throw up if I eat that. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
I know. Maybe I'm also like a psycho, and I love eating raw meat. Like, I love, beef tartare or beef carpaccio. I love that shit. So
that's where your French side comes out.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and the Brazilian side too.
That's true.
We eat a lot of meat. So yeah.
But they eat more like cooked meat. I feel
it's still cooked, but it's not like well done though. No. Like, still, like, my dad always would cook things to like medium rare. Yeah.
Have you been to any good French restaurants or Brazilian food restaurants here?
I've been meaning to find more Brazilian places here. Honestly, I think the only Brazilian place I've been here was Fogo de Chao, but it's it's a great place, but I wouldn't say it's like super authentic. Yeah. And then French places. I'm trying to think if I've been to any French places here. I'm sure I have, but I can't recall.
There's this one that
I feel like I go to mostly like, I guess, like Asian fusion places.
Yeah. Here. Or I feel like a lot of nicer restaurants around here have, they're inspired, but it's not necessarily just French food.
Yeah.
But there is, I can't think of the name right now, but there is a French restaurant that I feel like you would love, because it feels like Paris when I go there. Very expensive though.
Yeah.
Like Paris. But, and what's your, because you gave me some good recommendations. What are some of your favorite spots in Paris?
Favorite spots in Paris? Oh, for museums at least. Ballet de Tokyo, super cool museum. It's a bit smaller, but it's a lot of like cool, like modern stuff. And then the Pompidou, which is the modern art museum. It's always amazing. They always have such cool stuff there. And I love like the architecture of the building too.
Yeah.
What else? Oh, the Crazy Horse. I don't know if you went to go see the show.
No.
Oh, you have to go next time. It's incredible. It's a burlesque show.
Okay.
It's one of the most famous ones in the world. And it's truly, that's actually one fond memory I have with my mom. We went there and yeah, it's incredible. Like think, I guess like Rockettes, but like sexy. They're all
interesting.
They're famous for they have these like wigs that they wear that they're like these short wigs with bangs. And then the girls, they all look almost exactly the same. And I think you have to be within like a certain height limit because like, you know, when they stand in a line together, they're like,
it looks like
super proportionate. And I actually learned this recently from watching like some old Girls Next Door thing that they look like they all have the exact same hair, and I realized there's some secret to that. Yeah. So I don't know what the exact secret is, but yeah, it's an incredible show.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out next time. What's the most memorable meal you've had traveling? Because I know you've done some good amount of traveling now.
Yeah. Oh, that's so hard.
I know. It can even be like not necessarily good memorable. It can just be like probably the weirdest.
You know what? This one, not necessarily the most memorable, but in a good way. But for Cody and I's anniversary a couple years ago, I surprised him and took him to Phoenix, which is where he's from. But Odessa was playing a show. So I took him there. And then the night before the show, I made dinner reservations at this place. I don't remember the name of it, but it was like supposed to be the most fancy place in Phoenix, and it looked amazing. Like I looked at the menu because I wanted a place that was like very like, you know, not necessarily bougie. It was very bougie, but you know, place that serves like caviar and like it. It looked very beautiful inside. I was like, okay, yeah, this is super,
perfect.
You know, very perfect for an anniversary date. And it was very expensive, but you know, we love to spend money on food. So and the food was so bad.
Oh no.
It was so bad. It was like but halfway through we were just laughing because we were like
damn, their marketing team is fucking working overtime.
The thing is, because he's from there, he's like, I think the people here like genuinely think this is like really good. You know, but when you live in LA and yeah, exactly. It wasn't like inedible, but for the price that we were paying, and then like, you know, you read something on a menu and you're like, oh, okay, this is gonna be, you know, and then when it's presented to you on the plate and you're like, oh, it's just this. You're like, and not even, I don't mean like small portions. It's just like the execution of it. And,
the plating of it. And
I was like, oh god. But it was like, we weren't upset. We were just laughing at the end of the night. We were like, okay, whatever.
Like, this is just...
If like everything else was bad, like the service was impeccable and, you know, it was like white glove kind of service thing. Yeah, it was...
Okay, I was literally thinking like possibly you guys were getting catfish by a restaurant. And like showed up to like... just like...
Yeah. No, the place was beautiful. It was so. I would potentially go back there just for like
for the vibes.
Like just for just like caviar and champagne and a cocktail. Yeah. Like because caviar comes in a tin. You know, it's kind of hard to fuck that up unless you get bad caviar. But
or they, sometimes people like try to make something like their own spin on something. You're like,
but their prefix menu, forget about it.
That sucks.
But it was memorable for sure.
Right. You're like, well, we will.
Not be doing that again.
Not be coming back here. Oh. What's a life event that has shaped you?
I would say my back surgery, actually.
Yeah.
I had scoliosis surgery when I was 12. And the way that this like really shaped me, not just physically, but after my surgery, you know, it's such a major surgery. I stayed in the hospital for a week after surgery to recover. And, you know, I was on like a morphine drip and they literally like completely take you apart and then put you back together. And when they sent me home, I had to stay at home from school for 2 months. and they sent me home with pretty strong pain medication. They sent me home with Percocet, which was necessary. Like I had very serious back surgery.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm really grateful for my mom who, you know, my mom, she had been around town. She had done all the crazy things. And she was like, she talked to the doctors. She was like, you're going to send my daughter home with a bottle of Percocet and you're not going to tell me how I'm supposed to wean her off of this, because it's like, of course it was necessary for some time, but then eventually like about a month, like I didn't need to be taking so much. And I'm grateful that she knew how to kind of wean me off of it. And, you know, we went from like 2 pills to a pill and a half. And I'm really grateful that happened when I was 12. And it was right before I started, you know, puberty. I mean, I had already started puberty, but, you know, like
partying.
Started like, interesting in partying and all of that. Because I think if it happened even a few years later, it would have been not good. And having that experience. And I just remember coming off of the pain medication and when my mom was slowly weaning me off of it. And I was like so bothered and itchy and like anxious. And I didn't understand why. You know, I had never done any drugs at that point.
Yeah.
And I remember by the time I was only on just half a pill. And then I remember I was like, I got to the point where I was like, no, I don't need this. I'm good. And then I realized in that moment, like what it is to be dependent on drugs in that way. And
it's a scary realization to come at that age.
After that,
too.
I never fucked around with like pharmaceutical drugs. I definitely did a lot of other drugs. You know, I did a lot of like Molly and psychedelics and stuff like that, the fun drugs.
The fun ones.
But I'm really glad that kind of pushed me away from trying any pharmaceuticals, because one, I'm extremely sensitive to pharmaceuticals.
And you're not really someone, anytime I've gone out with you or partied with you, you're not someone who's trying to numb anything. Yeah. And I think when someone's usually on downers or going that direction, I'm like, oh man,
and there was a time in more of my adult life where I went through like a short phase where I was, but it was very short-lived. But I'm glad, and especially in high school, that I did not fuck with any, because I had a lot of friends who were doing like, you know, Xanax and Klonopin and just fucking around with that.
Was like
and like first I literally couldn't do it because I had such a terrible tolerance. I would just black out and like fall asleep basically. And I didn't see why that was fun. I'm like, why do you want to black out?
Yeah.
I'm like, that's scary.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to remember what great time I'm having.
Yeah. No.
So yeah, I'm very glad that happened.
It's kind of why I don't understand the ketamine phase right now. I'm like,
I love ketamine.
I do not. I feel so like, I just feel incompetent.
Yeah.
But I'm also someone who loves like tequila. So
yeah,
I'm obviously one who just like, if I'm going to take anything, it needs to make me like more me.
Yeah, because ketamine, it is a dissociative.
That's what it is. I'm like, because then I feel like I'm not fully there, and I'm not like if I'm drinking stuff, it's because I'm like, let's overshare.
Yeah. I love to overshare too, but ketamine is very interesting. I don't do it so much anymore because I kind of stopped partying like that. But I remember when I used to do it more often, I would go out to these like underground like dance parties here in LA. And sometimes if I knew I had something to do the day after where I didn't want to be hungover, I would just do ketamine and maybe have like one drink. And it was, and I would feel so good the day after. It was like the only thing that, it was almost like an antidepressant sometimes, where I would actually feel like better the day after. And ketamine can be very tricky. Like it can go in very, like so many different directions. I've had like not great experiences and then also extremely amazing, beautiful experiences. So it's a tricky thing, but yeah, I think it's cool how it's been, at least in California now, that it's clinics to do it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, which I'm very curious about, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh. What is something you feel you are deserving of?
Oh. I think trying to break some, I guess maybe like generational trauma or like cycles. It's something that it's been on my mind a lot recently, that you know, learn from, I guess, the mistakes that your family makes and use that to not keep repeating the same cycle. And so I guess, I think deserving of a better future.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, no, I get that. What is your comfort food and why does it bring you comfort?
I'm trying to think what my comfort food is right now. It's hard because I want to say my favorite food is sushi, but I would say my comfort food is probably like butter noodles.
Right.
That's like classic.
Yeah.
Butter noodles with Parmesan.
Yeah. It's easy. It's fast.
Yeah. That like white starch.
Yeah. Gives you like, I don't know.
Terrible for you now. But
terrible, but it gives you, I don't know, kind of like the
like
tryptophan feeling, even though it doesn't have tryptophan in it. It's like, I don't know, it's like any other high carby food. So you're just like, this just feels good. I feel a little high from this.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, I got a boo-boo. Let's slap some mac and cheese on that.
Let's slap some mac and cheese on there. What is the best meal you've had traveling outside of the U.S.?
Outside of the U.S.? Oh, you know what? That's actually a great question. I was in Barcelona last year with Cody, and there's another performer there at the same time as us, Vanessa Sky.
Aww.
And it was her like last 2 days there. And she told us, she was like, I've been putting my name down every single day I've been here. She was there for like, I think a month or two.
Yeah.
For this restaurant called Disfrutar, which is the #2 restaurant in the world.
Whoa.
The #1, I think, is in Peru. And that was the #2 restaurant in the world.
Shit.
And the day that we were flying there, she texted us and she's like, they just called me and they said that they have a table and they can fit all 3 of us.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And it was incredible. It truly was.
Were you like, this
such
is
an incredible
definitely
experience.
a #2? You were like, this is #2 rating for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I've never been to the #1, but I'm like, this is amazing. Right. It truly was like such a culinary experience, and not like in a foo-foo kind of way. Like, no, yes, it was like many courses and they're like small, but everything was so interesting. And like, I mean, I was damn full by the end, like for sure. But yeah, it was incredible. Some of the things that they created.
I'm going to look this place up.
Yeah.
I just want to like see the food now.
Yeah.
Because I love that. It'd be so disappointing if you go to Peru and it's like mid. I would be so sad. Especially if you've already gone to the #2.
Yeah.
And you like.
Yeah. Some of the things they had, like, I remember one of the courses, one of the first 3 courses, it was this like croquette. And on the inside, it was like caviar and creme fraiche. Oh. And it was incredible. I don't know how they fucking did it, because the outside was like perfectly crispy and warm, but the caviar inside was still cold. And I was like, can I get a dozen of these motherfuckers to go, please? And then there's this other thing that it looked like a grilled cheese, but when you put it in your mouth, it dissolved like tomato soup. It was like some Willy Wonka shit.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to remember the rest of it, but it was incredible. Yeah, highly, highly recommend. Such a special experience. And such a,
That's like the only time I really like to go out now for eating.
Yeah.
I think the last time I left my house to eat was actually to your house.
Yeah.
I don't really.
Same.
Lately,
I don't really go out to parties anymore.
No,
unless
I've been cooking more, and then I just. Yeah, unless it's gotta be like an experience and I know I'm gonna feel good after. I'm like, I don't need to go eat out.
Yeah.
So yeah. Have you done sushi by scratch yet in Encino?
I have, yes.
That's one of my favorite food experiences.
Yeah, it was very good. Have you tried? Did you know there's like
the pasta one?
Yes. Yeah, I haven't tried that one yet.
I was gonna say again, that pasta, man, that's like almost. Like it's almost like taking drugs, because I went to the pasta. I actually took Carlos. I took Carlos to the pasta bar. By the third, I was falling asleep at the table.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah,
I'm so tired. And I was like, I don't think I can keep doing this. And it was just small portions, but I was just like,
I heard they give you bread too to like,
I'm
you know, soak up the sauce after.
Yeah,
so,
I was like, this is all so good, but so many carbs, I'm gonna pass out.
Yeah.
And they pair it with whiskey, so I think they had like a deal, or they were doing something with Whistle Pig, which is like a great whiskey. And I don't really drink whiskey, and I just, the mix of whiskey, pasta, bread, I was like, this is like too much carbs.
Yeah.
Even if it's fancy carbs, it's still
it's still
carbs.
Still rich, yeah.
And it's still gonna make me bloat.
Yeah.
But but still, we love you. Shout out to Encino. I don't know if your restaurant's just called Scratch at this point. I don't know what it is. Ooh. How was your experience working with Vixen on your Influence series?
It was incredible. It's crazy. I just realized it's like been exactly a year since we shot it.
Yeah.
Yeah, such an incredible experience. One that I'm so grateful I was able to get. That's something that I never thought I would have gotten getting in the industry. You know, just to get a showcase in general is such a privilege and such a cool thing, but to get to do it for Vixen, because I mean
prestige.
most showcases are usually just all sex, which is great, but you know, mine had a whole story, and it was like 2 weeks straight of shooting, and it just was so cool. I just had a moment. One of the first few days we were shooting like the big party scene and just the whole setup and looking at all the extras. And I'm like, oh my God, like this is all for me. This is so cool. So yeah, that was really, really amazing.
Yeah.
It's something that I don't know if I'll ever, it's not that I don't think I'll ever be a part of something that big again, but I think the only way to really top that experience is like doing something mainstream.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, aren't you in the Esmeralda series?
The Griselda. I did that, but that was like...
You mean like be in a movie?
Yeah, be more involved in it. Yeah, because the part I had in Griselda, it wasn't even like speaking or anything. It was just... it's like this photo montage that they had in the scene.
Oh.
Yeah. So, which it was still really cool to be on that set. And I want to do more of that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, me and Holly were actually talking earlier about how we hope women from or just all actors from the industry are going to start gonna start to be given more serious roles rather than the prostitute, the sex worker, because we all will get opportunities, but it's like the Euphoria guy will hire girls they're like, well, you're okay with being naked, so
which I mean, it makes sense. Like, I think if there's anyone to hire to do a nude role, then you should go hire somebody from a porn agency. It's going to be much easier. But I do. I feel like the lines between porn and mainstream are like slowly start. I don't think it's ever going to be fully, and it shouldn't. But I think it's now with how much more like porn is part of mainstream culture, and I think there's starting to become a lot more opportunities for performers to evolve beyond just a porn star.
Exactly. I hope to see that, especially for someone like you, because you have such a insane work ethic.
Thank you.
I definitely saw that when you were filming felt like you were filming for like 2 months, but it was for a couple weeks.
It was almost 2 weeks straight. I mean, we had days off in between, but it was usually like I feel like 5
you were
days
just like you were preparing, like working out every day, and then stretching every day.
Yeah,
and I was like, I don't think I've ever seen someone be more dedicated.
Yeah, I'm looking back at those pictures. And I'm like, fuck, like I want to get back in in shape like that again. But it really was like a huge turning point for me, not just career-wise, but like in my personal life. Because when I got that movie, I was like, this is like a really like a once in a lifetime opportunity to get to do something of this level. And I wanted to be so... I wanted everything to go perfectly, and I wanted to be so happy with how I looked, and because I was already like unhappy with how I looked and felt about myself for so long before that. And I was like, okay, this is a great opportunity to use this as a way to like focus my energy onto something. And yeah, we shot it in June of last year, and I remember it was like after my birthday last year in February, I was like, okay, it's time to
you were doing like no
completely
alcohol.
focus.
You were
I did like a crazy like personal training thing, and I wasn't going out. I went out like a little bit here and there towards the end of my training, but yeah, I'm so glad it was worth all of it.
Oh, it's good
now I'm trying to find more balance, but yeah, it definitely was worth it.
I feel like it's always good to know that like you're capable of that kind of discipline. I feel like everyone needs to practice that every once in a while.
Yeah.
So.
And it's cool to like be able to look back at those pictures and be like, wow, I fucking looked like that. Like it's really cool.
No, yeah, I was proud of you. Do we have some fan questions?
Yeah, actually,
or producer questions, I guess.
We do have a couple fan questions. But I did have something pop up when you were talking. You were talking about like that food experience that you couldn't really explain. And I was wondering if either of you guys have been to Bazaar Meats in Vegas. That's like my favorite restaurant. It's crazy expensive, but it's like kind of similar to what you were describing. Like it just kind of doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
like the very first thing that they serve you, if you get the like the chef's choice where they like send you stuff, is this cotton candy frogois. And it doesn't like make sense. Yeah, that's the face that I gave when I heard it, and it's like so good, and it just doesn't make any sense.
Wow,
like, that's like they have a lot of weird combos like that. That's pretty good.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
I was thinking they like made like those cotton candy. It's like flavored like foie.
No, it's like a sweet cotton candy, and then in the middle of it is like some frogois.
I feel like that kind of makes sense because frogois is already like a little sweet. So I don't know.
It's pretty good. I gave when they put it like on the plate. I was like, this is
like
weird.
The fuck.
They also tell you like how many bites you're supposed to take. I'm like for how much money this is, I'm gonna take the amount of bites that I want to take.
Yeah, you're like, excuse me.
Yeah, but yeah, it's like
I'm not 5.
Yeah, they're like, this is designed for 3 bites. And like they literally like every time they bring something out, I'm like,
and this is designed.
Yeah.
I feel like that's how the future's gonna be.
Yeah.
With like robots coming into your table. This is designed for.
Yeah.
So that people don't inhale it.
Okay, I'm gonna pass the mic.
We have 2 questions, one from a fan and one from the producer. From a fan at It's Ryan Pownell asks, does Vanna forgive Ryan for the Barney's incident?
I mean, absolutely. You made it up to me. You got me a new phone the next day. You upgraded me to bigger storage, and it was hilarious. Like I think it was so funny. I mean, in the moment, I was just like, I wasn't even angry. It was just like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, that he told us a story, and I was like,
yeah,
because when I saw the video, because I don't know, sometimes I feel like people will do this, like something will be staged just for some clicks.
Yeah.
And then I found out it was real. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It's like, that was insane.
Yeah, I need to watch the footage again because, I just was so... We literally just I went on the show and shot a podcast like this. And afterwards, they were like, oh, do you want to go get drinks? I was like, sure.
I was going to ask you to get drinks after this, but now I'm like, do you got bad juju or something?
Well, I mean, as long as you don't have beef with people like that.
I don't.
Which I assume you don't.
No, there's like 15 minutes of the episode that we got a cut of Ryan's for name dropping. I'm like, oh my God, man.
But no, I don't hate you, Ryan.
He is forgiven.
Made it up to me. Yeah.
All is forgiven.
The other question is, if you were to host a Vanna-themed dinner, what would that look like?
Ooh. Vanna-themed dinner. Oh,
let's see.
I gotta really think about that.
I'm like, for starters.
Oh, well, we definitely would have like oysters.
Mhm.
I actually do really want to do that soon.
That sounds really
do
fun.
a little seafood night, have some oysters,
Yeah.
have some caviar, do some mussels.
Start with some champagne to go with all of it, and then move on to cocktails with
yeah.
What would be like an entree you'd want?
Entree. Oh, I actually really wanted to make this. I wanted to do a whole dinner party for Cody's birthday last year, but didn't work out. But I really wanted to make like a squid ink pasta.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I'll just have to do that. We'll do a little ocean inspired dinner.
Perfect.
Yes.
Yay. Now I'm hungry. Was there one more question or no? Oh, okay. Where can the fans find you, Vanna?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter under Vanna Bardot. And my OnlyFans is Vanna Bardot 2. And I think my TikTok is the Vanna Bardot or the real Vanna Bardot. It's one of those two. So, I'm not really on TikTok. So.
Right. And you can find me at Lumi_Ray, at Lumi Ray 0 on TikTok. And please like, subscribe, comment your thoughts and onions on this episode. And we will see you next time.